1:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Thursday, October 24th, 2024. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So unlike yesterday, when we were on and we were talking about the drop down to at least 51.1, which it absolutely hit on the spot, now, if it plays out properly, before the next drop, we should be able to hit 54.3 cents. Well, we'll look at it. It's like 54 cents. We'll take a look. Anti-communist welcome in. Says, I want good news on XRP. So please, good news. XRP is going down so I can buy more cheaper. We'll take a look at that. Coffee and crypto says, man, every time there's good news, it dumps. And every time there's bad news, it dumps. Praying one day the good news actually... Yeah. It does get you feeling that way quite often. Mark Casson, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 6 months, along with UK Phil with the XRP Predictor. Thank you both so much. And Coffee and Crypto, thanks for being in Tom's Army for your 2nd month with the emoji, or the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News. Messi, welcome in. Angel Lopez, doing really well. Doing well. My son just got done with school and his speech therapy, so I wanted to get on about 10 minutes earlier, but I was fashionably late to my own live. But everything's gone great. He's got a 3-day weekend now. No therapies or school on Friday this week. Not every week he has school Friday. Some Fridays they don't. This week he has it off, so he has a nice weekend coming up here. Thank you for asking. So as we can see with XRP, we've got a couple things we're going to go over during this live. We'll be together for about an hour today. Obviously you can see we're not here at 6 p.m. anymore Eastern Standard Time. It's just become too big of a hassle with my son's therapies and his schooling and the other kids and things like that. So this is around the time I'll be doing this. Some days it'll be at 12:30, some days it'll be at 1:30, but somewhere around 12:30, somewhere around 1 we'll call it. Should be the time you should be looking for the lives now. So we'll go over today the XRP technical analysis, as we have an inverse head and shoulders set up. So I am planning on this going up, or I'm at least in my own analysis, I'm looking for this. First, it's got to break over this pivot point of 53.36, which I think it should. And then I think it's going to come up here towards 54.70. If you see how I did this, I have it to where it's not right on the line now, so we can see it a little bit easier. I think that if we look at this in reality, I think this is actually going to come up and it should retest the broken rising channel. We know the technical target out of the rising channel was 51.1 cents, and it filled it out perfectly. It actually tapped at 51.17 perfectly. And now we've created the first resistance here at 53.35, which is good. We came back down, created the inverse right shoulder. If I'm looking at this properly, and my audience can let me know what you think, and if you are watching, please make sure to hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this video. My morning update did not get recommended. It didn't have a lot of views to start, or a lot of likes to start, but now it's gotten over 115, but no YouTube recommendation. So it's got 700 views. If it would have been recommended, it'd be at about 1,200 right now. So I hope this live gets the proper likes. There's going to be a lot of information, good or bad, and a lot of stuff that you need to know. So hit that like button so YouTube does recommend this. That means my content is showed in the YouTube news feed for not just you if you're subscribed, but anybody who hasn't seen my content as well. So just by hitting that like button, you can help out so much. When I'm not recommended on YouTube, you'll be able to tell on my updates in the morning. They'll get about 1,000 views. When they're recommended, they'll get anywhere between 1,700 and 2,500. It's a huge difference. Huge difference. And with how hard it is to attract new support from my audience, you know, especially when we're in down moments, I definitely need the newer viewers, the added eyes, just for ad revenue to make up, because I'm having, you know, it hasn't been a great month as far as, you know, revenue, so to say. But when the price is going down, it's very hard to attract the newer people. So I'd appreciate the help with the like button. It does mean a lot. I'm not checking until like 2 o'clock to see how many people are here, how many likes, because I don't want to be influenced. And then after we go through this as well, we also are going to go through the fact that we have the Ripple CEO for XRP, Brad Garlinghouse, and this is what I alluded to. What the hell is this? I don't want Benzinga BS. Just give me what I want to read. Because if I can't read it here, I'll just go somewhere else. But the Ripple CEO expects XRP ETF as institutional demand grows for demand for crypto grows. So he believes because of institutional investors, XRP will get its ETF. So we'll definitely read into that. We'll look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index while we're live today. And then we'll also look at this. Oh no, not this. This isn't what I want. We already have what I want. I don't want to read about some stupid altcoin. But no, I wanted to read about the Ripple CEO, and then I want to look at the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. I was going to say, what the heck is that crap? So what I'm looking at here is I believe there's an inverse head and shoulders. There's an inverse head and shoulders. And for anybody who's paying attention, it looks like that's the inverse left shoulder to an inverse head. The right shoulder forms right here. And now if it pulls out properly, it should at least come back up and retest this area. I just look at the technicals. I try to see what's setting up. I don't try to overthink myself. And if I do end up making like a leverage trade or something until the market, unless it falls out, that's the setup that I play, which I did. And then for me, if it comes below this inverse right arm, in my opinion, that's where it could invalidate the structure. So to me, I hold unless it comes below that structure. On the leverage side, I was doing a leverage short, and then it was after it got down and hit this support, I sold it, and then I've just been waiting for the setup, and now we've got the setup. And unless it falls out, I'll still do leverage trading to the top unless it falls out and comes below. If it were to break this, you know, then for myself, I'd be paying more attention to the, you know, the spot side when it gets down to the bottom. But as long as it's coming back up for the retest and I see an opportunity, I'm not afraid to take it. So if you are one of the copy traders that are left, now that we're down $150 in totality, from yesterday, well, in totality from the start of BLOFIN, you know, some people left. When they didn't see a positive, they left. So this could be interesting. So I could be trading by myself in a month or two, you know, depending on how this goes. But it's fun. It's just funny. I like to talk about what I see going on. So to me, I think I see this inverse head and shoulders. I see this inverse head and shoulders. And like a lot of people are like, Tom, why don't... we're talking about a couple $100 here. That could be a maximum loss. And all, you know, in terms of my portfolio, it's like it's not even 0.1%. So when we're talking about stuff like that, or it's like 1%, not even. So when we're talking about the potential loss, you know, this is... There's risk reward here. There's a risk reward. So inverse head, inverse right arm. I think this is an inverse head and shoulders that should play out here is the bottom line. So I've taken my chance. I've got it set up. I don't have to do anything because I have the stop loss set up below the inverse right arm. And that's just that. But I am so badly wanting at some point here. I want it to do what it needs to do. So if we need to get a rejection here, so XRP can clear this out if it remains bearish, so be it. Because I would love to start winning Wednesdays, FOMO Fridays, and Motivated Mondays, but I can't do that until this falls out. If this falls out, we're right back on track. We'll be back to our algo buys and yada, 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 and all this other good stuff. But we need this pattern to finish its formation. Right now, it looks like to me an inverse head and shoulders, so I'm attacking it in that fashion. If it becomes invalidated, it becomes invalidated. So... but I'm just saying, like, for me, if I'm looking at this, if you're looking at this, if it's playing off an inverse head and shoulders, it's got to play it, and it's got to play it true. So then you approach it as an inverse head and shoulders. You look at it, okay, here's the inverse left shoulder, inverse head setup, inverse right shoulder, which means you don't want to be breaking this neckline. So the moment it breaks that on the down low, that's not a good sign. Now, obviously, that inverse right arm, you do not want it to bust. So that's why I say underneath it is where you should be. You're in or you're out. You know, it's one of those things. So that's how I'm perceiving this. So I think it's going to end up pulling up. I think it should retest. How often do we have a big rising channel like that and we don't come back to retest? Not very often. But as we know, you have to pay the piper out of it. You can't just come down to retest it. So if you look at the channel, it stayed the same the whole way. The length or the width is exactly the same. So we measured this out, and it measured out perfectly. I think we measured it from right here. Wherever we measured it from, it was the technical target of 51. Oh, right there. So it measured out to 51.11 when it broke through, and it ended up playing true right down to 51.11. Like, and now, if it wants to prove that it's bearish, Oftentimes now you come back and back test. What do we always say? You back test the broken formation, and that was a rather large rising channel. And then if it is busted and it doesn't create what could still be a V-shaped recovery, everybody, like with this inverse head and shoulders, if it plays out properly, you could still get the illusion of the V-shaped recovery and come out. So it's not that this pattern's dead yet. We just need to see if we get that rejection at 54.76 or if it continues up, but by no means does it have to. This could be a fake out with what looks like an inverse head and shoulders, and we'll know if we can't get past 53.35. But it seems to me we're set up for a bullish end of the day today. A bullish end of the day today. So, and that's initially how I had my title, but I decided to change it because I didn't want people to just click because they're like, oh, we could have a bullish end of the day. I wanted them to see the ETF stuff and things like that. Tom, I bought more XRP today. Please let it go down so I can buy more tomorrow. Yep. Every time it goes down, if you're in that mindset, you buy more. Like right now, I know earnings is coming up with like B2 Gold, First Majestic, Fortuna Silver Mine. So I today picked up. I try to pick up as we go along. So I'm looking at opportunities to pick up more and more as we go. I'm looking at Newmont Mining as it missed earnings. And for anybody who's looking for an opportunity, Newmont Mining, and it should come down a little bit lower still, it's down 14.5% today. So what happened is it was up 70% on the year. And now what do I always say? It's always got to come back and retest these areas. Now that was a rather big rising channel. So if this is going to come all the way back down, you're talking about maybe a $40 price. Maybe it back tests all the way, but you got to look at it from a weekly sense. Like I don't own Newmont Mining. I did initially, and then I sold it somewhere along the breakout. Not way up here, somewhere around the 40-something dollar level. But now it's had a big reversal. And in the weekly, if you look, it should come down and at least retap 46.98 where it's at. At least some. This is not unusual what's happening here. And that was a massive breakout out of the descending consolidation. So it's got to have some kind of correction at some point. It was just a rather large one. That's a big W reversal as well out of there. So if you're looking for opportunity, I'm going to put this back on the old board. Oh, I don't want to do that. Well, I'll put it back on after. I'll delete something on here. So yeah, that's definitely something that's setting up in front of us. I think when I came on, XRP was at like 53.06. So it has had a little bit of movement while I've been talking. So it is starting to play up towards that inverse head and shoulders. So, with what's coming out with Casper, it's dangerous. Dangerous. There's a big look there. Where it looks like they might have took a bunch of money and some upper people might have... There's just a lot of uncertainties there. A lot of uncertainties there. I had a target for Casper. And this is before all the stuff came out after I sold it. When it had a rally back earlier in the year. And my target to rebuy was at 00347. And everybody was like, you're out of your fucking mind. And I'm like, well, that's the technical drop point from where we're at. Where that target was when we busted it. And we're just going to have to wait. So now... Oh yeah, we're about to find out right now with XRP for sure. We're about to find out for XRP. We're coming up to that resistance at 53.33. Absolutely. Whoever just said we're bumping up against the resistance is spot on. We're moving up there right as we speak. And guys, the one thing about earnings with like precious metals, a lot of times you'll have a melt up going into the earnings. And then if it has a bad earnings, it goes to shit. Like Newmont did the same thing. It had a melt up going into the earnings. And then once it missed earnings, so basically it missed earnings, but it did fine in revenue. Like they just had an overzealous revenue expectation. Same with earnings. It's not that they did anything wrong. It's just that the consensus had it higher than that. To me, that's the way they shake it out. And don't be fooled, because the end of the year, a lot of times the stocks end up taking rises by the last quarter, which is Q4. Because that's where, remember, anybody who owns a company, they get paid by how much they make. They get big bonuses in Q4 for how much they're up. So remember to pay attention to the fundamentals of everything as well. So I'm just saying, B2 Gold's earnings are coming up. So like to sell it now, like yesterday I said, if you don't want to buy it, like it might not be the right opportunity if you haven't bought it here. but to sell prior to earnings. And I find a way to sneak all this in because we've got a lot more to talk about with XRP. But gold right now is up 20 bucks. And it looks like it's still pushing towards that 28.80 target or 28.60 target. There's nothing I've seen even in the weekly looks very bullish. Unless it has a big pull down. And it's doing all of this in spite of the US dollar currency, the DXY, having a big push. Now this is technically a bearish candle, but if it finishes at the top and it finishes bullish, that's why this is interesting. I want to see how this is going to finish the next 4 hours and 10 minutes. There's 2 hours and 10 minutes left for mining stocks to buy and sell. But I'm very anxious to see how this is playing out. Silver looks like it could as well have a bearish, you know, pull down here. Like, it looks like we could have a correction here like I talked yesterday. So I'm not buying anything more because I think I should get an opportunity to expand if I want to. But I'm definitely looking at Newmont Mining right now because I'm always looking at opportunities. Remember when we took First Majestic, First Majestic, for anybody who's been paying attention or watching, at $4.61. It had the exact same thing happen to it, like Newmont. Came down like 15% one day, another 10%. So it was down 25% in a day and a half. And we bought it at $4 and, well, it was actually $4.61, but I always say $4.71. And we rode it all the way. And you see where it's at. Now that's $3 a share already in like a month. So I look for opportunity. I crave opportunities like that. So now I'm looking at for Newmont. So anybody who has any understanding of it, that's just something I'm paying attention to. This is going to take a while today to play out still, though. This isn't just going to happen in one swift motion if it's going to move. Because in the 4 hourly, we've got to get above the 200 or the 20-day resistance. And then in the 2 hourly, we seem to be transferring the proper way. Hourly, we had a nice inverted hammer on top of a nice hammer candle. So that seems to be working nice on the doji. So it should, before we hit any real resistance, assuming 53.30 doesn't kick us in the nuts, or 53.35, we should be looking at 53.81. And can I ask everybody a question who's here? Because I don't want to know how many people are here yet until 2. How many of you enjoy the time slot, the newer time slot? You know, maybe not everybody that I'm used to seeing will always be here. But we have a very nice audience that has shown up the last couple times. I've done it at, you know, the time I need to now. And we've been able to talk. And it just so happened yesterday, we talked about that drop moments before everybody got to see. And then it ended up playing out as we talked about. So, I like keeping everybody ahead. And I also like this time slot. I can't help it. I've done it at 6 o'clock for so long. It's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, yesterday we had 115 people in here. The day before we had around 115, 120 when I did it. 2 days before that, so. New time is great. I work nights, so I'm usually sleeping. That's just excellent. I love hearing that this is a good time. I remember several months back ago, Tom said he will back up the truck at Casper at point. No, I didn't say that. I said I might. I said I would back the truck up. I did say 0.008, I would look at it. But I said if I was actually going to back the truck up, if it didn't hold 0.00871, which it didn't, I'd be looking at either 772 or ultimately that 347. But you're right. I said the first look would have been 871. Remember, everybody laughed at me. You were in here. Everybody said there's no fucking way it goes down that far. And that was a long time ago. You're talking about when Casper, where I made this, where I made these way back here. So you're talking Casper was way up when I said that. And it's not because I wanted to. I just said something don't seem right. It shouldn't have got rejected and then fallen out and rejected again here. And when I said that, look how far it came down now. That's 40% from there. And I remember a lot of people in my audience were buying Casper, and I said it's not the right time. Like I just felt like it had to drop. I mean, and it did. And now it fell through that first target, so I can't back the truck up, especially because unbeknownst to me, there was the bad stuff that came out. I'm not saying it won't be a good buy at some point, but we got to see where the dust settles. And there will be a mighty reversal here, good or bad. Even if it's dead for the water, there's going to be a mighty reversal. Just in the daily, it's still not looking great here. Down another 5.8%. You're going to get a lot of dumping here. A lot. And it's already had a lot. So for Bitcoin, 68,000 is a big area. But remember, 67,800 is a lot of people are pointing to that area. I'm not. Only because I see the resistance at 68K. So what good is it to break 67,800 if it doesn't push 68? That's my only question. Daily, with where it's at now, it looks like a bullish reversal. I don't think that's quite a bearish hammer candle. Like I mean, one could speculate, but if it finishes, if Bitcoin closes over 67, so 67,800 would be a great close. It would invalidate the break. But even yesterday, that daily candle with the big drop, that's a hammer candle. This is this could be a disguised bearish formation, like a bear trap. So we've got a lot of stuff that's developing here. That still looks like a bull flag. And it also looks like Bitcoin in the short term, just like XRP, put in this inverse setup. Like that looks like an inverse setup. And if that's the case, we're going to be pushing out of here past 68K. And that should happen soon. We're trying to invalidate that bearish cross as well. But yeah, I mean, we're going to have a moment where it's going to be very, 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 very beneficial for what we're doing here. Everybody remembers 21. It's going to be way better than 21. But that doesn't mean there's not going to be a lot of pain. That doesn't mean that this in itself can't even be a fake out. I just want to see 53 cents hold now and start working its way up towards that 54.3, build the base for today, and then push ourselves up. John Bugathorpe, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army. I didn't even get to finish reading that, darn it. I think for over 6 months with the XRP Predictor, he said, Angel FY, my background is 20 years as an asset manager company with 1.5 trillion under management, so it's my direct experience. Ooh, thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that, Angel. The UAE's going crazy with the taxes and unrealized gains. Yep, unfortunately, and that's why I'm not into politics, but that's why if you're a voter, if you vote for Harris, she's going after it's just the tax plan, folks. It's the tax plan. And if you stay here until the end of the live today, I will share both tax plans through Robert Kiyosaki, somebody had on his channel, and we'll listen to it together. It's only about 5 to 6 minutes that you'd have to watch. Much like yesterday, if you stayed till the end, we watched Mike Maloney. Today, we'll watch that video, and you'll see the difference between the two tax plans and the devastation that'll be caused if Kamala Harris is elected. And I know the central banks run the world, but they always give you a side. They give you a choice to kind of break your own necks, hang yourselves, break your backs. You know, so in this election, we got a problem. Musk owns $70 million of XRP. Wonder why? I think because, I mean, that's always been speculation with Musk. There's no concrete evidence that we can ever actually see, besides the speculation, conjecture, and all this. But with Elon Musk, I think he's going to use it as a payment portal. Not just Doge, but on his X, he's going to have many different ways that end up replacing the US dollar as currency, and he's going to use some of the crypto to become a form of currency. As long as somebody uses it as a form of currency, it's got adaptability. It's got adaptability. Why do you think me and Julie hold just over 10,000 Doge? And we've held it for a long time, sold it on the Saturday Night Live debacle, and then bought it back at 5 cents for Julie and sent it to her thing on Robinhood, even though I don't advise it, she likes it. So I just sent it to her Robinhood wallet. The reason we buy that is because not just Elon Musk, but he's trying to take that as a currency. I don't think it's going to go up to $10 or $1,000, but I could see this. I could see it having a massive run just because of utility by Musk, and it's interesting. Anytime you can find utility in crypto, you got to just not be like, oh, it's a pile of shit. You actually have to look at who's behind it. Not that I like Elon Musk, because he's got the whole iRobot thing going on right now that looks exactly like iRobot, with the robots that he wants you to buy so that it can do your shopping, watch your kids, take your dog out, wipe your ass, cook your food, basically make you obsolete. So I think, you know, that's like a false prophet, so to say, is what he is. But just, I mean, the mark of the beast was never more apparent than who it's coming from. Everybody says Bill Gates. I digress. I don't think so. I think it's Elon Musk. No offense to anybody who likes him. Ripple CEO expects XRP ETF as institutional demand for crypto grows. So, I don't trust the robots. 0%. Ripple Labs CEO Brad Garlinghouse remains confident that an exchange-traded fund ETF is just inevitable despite, and welcome and true, despite ongoing challenges. As institutional demand for cryptocurrency surges, Garlinghouse emphasized the importance of crypto ETFs, pointing to the direction, or pointing to the explosive growth seen in Bitcoin ETFs since their approval. Now, I don't think I see something darker than Gates. I do. I used to think that, but I see something deeper. I think he's part of it. I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to get banned, and I will if I talk about that. However, XRP's path to an exchange-traded fund approval is far from clear. Clouded by legal battles and regulatory uncertainty, since funds holding Bitcoin were first approved in January, $17 billion has flowed in to the fastest-growing ETF in history. Garlinghouse noted in an interview with Bloomberg, this inflow, as he explained, showcases the growing appetite from both retail and institutional investors for easier access to digital assets. Legal challenges loom large for XRP, though. While Bitcoin inches closer to new all-time highs, XRP's trajectory is more uncertain, largely due to its ongoing legal dispute with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. Ripple has been embroiled in a multi-year legal battle, and if anybody has any relaxation, now would be the time if you would like to relax with me. I don't smoke cigarettes. So I don't think I'm smoking my nicotine stick. I'm smoking cannabis. I like the flower. I don't like the pens and that kind of stuff because I think that changes the chemistry of it, and then it's actually very bad for your body. It does the opposite of what it's supposed to. And if you break down cannabinoids and you mix those into a chemical and then it turns into a liquid compound and you're smoking it, it actually defeats the purpose. So it actually works against your body. So make sure you do it in the natural state. Don't be this new age BS of we have to do the vape pens. It's horrible. Horrible. I don't smoke cigarettes or cigars. I don't smoke nicotine. Well, I mean, I'll smoke a cigar. I'll smoke my first bit of nicotine in about 3 years at my grandpa's 90th birthday party. But he's giving all of his grandkids and everything a cigar. So, and it's going to be like a Cuban. So I am not going to say no. I'm not going to inhale it, but I'm definitely going to smoke it with them. And his birthday is November 5th. So, you know, we're looking forward to his 90th. It's going to be awesome. Although Ripple secured a partial court victory in 2023 with the ruling that programmatic sales of XRP to retail investors did not violate securities laws, the SEC has appealed and the outcome remains unresolved. Speaking with Benzinga, Ryan Lee, chief analyst at BitGet Research, I don't care what he says. I don't care what anybody from BitGet says. But then again, he said something, but let's see what he says. BitGet Research highlighted the importance of SEC appeal in shaping XRP's future. Securities and Exchange Commission's appeal has attracted significant market attention, raising concerns about its potential effects on XRP's price and overall sentiment, Lee said. If the appeal results in a negative outcome for Ripple, it could lead to a steep decline in XRP's price. However, Lee added, a favorable ruling or positive investor sentiment in Ripple's case could stabilize XRP's position. Wow, whatever. I don't care about that. Great information. If they lose the lawsuit, which that shows no fundamental understanding, they can't lose the lawsuit. Does anybody understand what the appeal is right now? This is why everybody needs to pay attention. And I don't know how many people are watching. 79. I appreciate the 79 of you. Make sure to hit that like button and share this so we can try to expand our audience a little bit farther. I do appreciate 80 people, though. That's a lot, especially for where XRP's been at. I do like seeing that. But with XRP, does everybody see what's going on with the appeal? They can't appeal the actual decision about it not being a security. It is only Hi, Mimi. It is only in regards to Brad Garlinghouse and Christian A. Larson's and the size of the fine. That's it. They're only appealing the fine. So I think a lot of people are getting caught up. It's not a debate anymore. It will not be a security now or ever. It's just a matter of how much money are they going to get. Herbert Jean, welcome in. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for over 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. I greatly appreciate that. Hopefully you're having a blessed day, Herbert. They were appealing just because they want more money. Absolutely, Angel. Yes, indeed. Nope, it's not if it's for security. Absolutely not. You're absolutely right. It's not as a security. That is not in jeopardy. Now or will it ever be. Remember, they even put an addendum in there that they couldn't go after that when we read the 500,000 pages. So, XDC we'll take a look at today. The filing by Bitwise Asset Management shows optimism for XRP's future, even as it faces legal and regulatory hurdles. Experts have noted that the outcome of the SEC's appeal combined with the upcoming U.S. presidential election could significantly impact XRP's chances for an ETF approval. Alex Thorne, head of research at Galaxy Research, said that the SEC's action in the coming weeks will be pivotal. The SEC has until October to appeal Judge Torres' ruling, and if they proceed, the likelihood of the XRP ETF's approval will drop significantly, Thorne warned. Adding to the complexity, political factors could also play a role in determining XRP's future. Bloomberg senior ETF analyst Eric BITUNIX suggested that a potential change in U.S. leadership could alter the regulatory landscape. A Trump win could shift the balance, making ETF approvals more likely, while Harris' victory may hinder such progress, BITUNIX said. Ripple's ongoing legal fight has broader implications for the cryptocurrency industry as a whole. Analysts agree that clear regulatory frameworks could benefit not only XRP, but also Bitcoin and other digital assets. As Bitcoin approaches new highs and inflows into crypto ETFs soar, the upcoming U.S. election is expected to bring greater regulatory clarity. Pedro Larpenda, head of research at Hashdex, pointed out that both major presidential campaigns are more open to the crypto sector, which that's not true. It's not, because Harris is she's the vice president. They have a hard-on attacking crypto. So you want me to believe if she's president, she's just going to change her stance? Like, that's what is appalling to me. How can everybody just be... Never mind. I don't want to go into politics because they're useless. Which could shape future regulations in a way that benefits both XRP and Bitcoin. These developments in the crypto space, along with the potential approval of an XRP ETF, will be a focal point at Bazinga's Future of Digital Assets event on November 19th, where industry leaders will discuss how legal, regulatory, and political factors are shaping the future of cryptocurrency and digital asset investment. So that's an event coming up. Crypto Fear and Greed Index right now sits at 69. Yesterday was 71. It's amazing that the greed is so high after the drop. It's amazing. Which, you're going to need a little greed if you want this price to take a push up here. But we did have a double bottom on the Fear and Greed Index when it came to 32 after it came to 37. A couple months ago, it came down to about 13. So we've had extreme fear, and now we're in some greed here. Right now, it does seem like, to me, for XRP, we have this inverse head and shoulders setting up. It seems like it needs to play out here in a relatively short time frame. Bitcoin has a nice setup here, which it seems like it's probably going to try to pop 68, but it will remain to be seen, as we keep saying. It's going to be a slow crawl here today, but we've still got 6 hours left on the day. You really want to see some upward movement here before the close, and it's starting to have some upward movement here in the past about 45 minutes, as some of you have seen. Even Ethereum had found itself in the negative here today. Not too long ago, a couple hours ago, it was down at 2,507, and now it's found itself about 20 bucks up here in just about the last 2 hours. So that's a pretty nice move there, just to get back on the right side of town, because the markets to me seem like they're alluding to, not that there's flip bullish all of a sudden, but like with XRP, we came down out of the rising channel, we had a technical target, and I'll just put the arrow back there how I had it. I deleted it just so it's easier to see now, but I guess keeping it up there will make it easier when I'm talking. I had it from right here, the technical target from here to here, and it was just the measuring of the rising channel busting. It will come down to 51.1 cents. It came up, came through a little bit higher, still hit that same area that we targeted, and it hit 51.1 cents. Now, to me, it's always based on the recovery, but I started to notice this, and it's why I feel pretty comfortable in what I'm saying. It created what looks like a left shoulder down to that. Whoops, shoot. That looks like pure trash. I apologize. It looks like it created this inverse head and shoulders setup. And when it came down, it created left shoulder to a head, back to a right shoulder, and now out. So, and now it looks like it should retest the rising channel. It's very rare that you break down out of a rising channel like that and don't back test it as resistance. First, you have to finish the technical drop. So you have to pay the piper, as I always say. Then you have to come back up and see, is it bearish or bullish? So that's where we're at right now. And like, it's funny, days like today, I like seeing 82 people, but if XRP was up 17%, we'd have 500 people. Today's a more important day than if XRP was up 15%. It's important because you're going to find out if we're overtly bearish and we have to fall that, in totality, 23%, down around 42 cents or 41, or are we able to break past that rising channel resistance and start pushing on? And this was just a test for support. We actually created a little bit of a W there. And this isn't a bear flag. It'll invalidate it and push back up. That's what we're looking for. That's all we're looking for here out of this formation. And it's everything, ladies and gentlemen. It is everything. God, that feeds me so much. I love seeing that, Bruce. XRP won't be worth a thing of cat shit, I think he said. I love everybody who says that. Please keep saying it. Please keep that kind of mindset over there. I want to see the bearish. I want to see the ones who hate XRP. That's what happened in 21. They were everywhere. Now they're all out. It's worse now than it was in 21. No, Bruce is allowed to be here. Maybe he just likes my technical analysis. He might not like XRP, but maybe he appreciates my personality. That's how I look at it. I like Bruce because he's part of the majority that does not like XRP, and they're vocal about it. And that's what I like to see, because it gives us a mindset of where we need to go further. I don't think we need to attack Bruce. I think we need to embrace Bruce. You want to have everybody in the community that understands whether they're for XRP or against it. You want to see what's transpiring out in the real world. And you've got a lot of people like Bruce that really hate XRP. And a lot of it's because of the false bravado of YouTubers. And I'm just being real. And I'm a YouTuber, so I get lumped in with most of them. XRP market cap too high. Depends perspective here, my friend. If you look at it in the totality, it's not high enough. But I can understand what you're saying. I can understand what you're saying. But it looks like, though, we're coming up to those upper boundaries. Like, it even looks like everything needs to do that. Same with me, Aaron. XRP's made me so much money over the last couple of years that it allowed me to not only invest an additional, well, initially 12 grand into precious metals when gold hit 1,600 and silver was down around 15, 16. Y'all remember this in 22. I sold out XRP in 21. I had a big stockpile, waited, it hit the spot. I told everybody where to buy it, and we took our profits. Like, XRP's done phenomenal for me. The only time I ever lose money is when I go out in the leverage trading side and I try to build a philosophy with myself. And right now my philosophy is the last chance that you have in leverage, you're doing higher leverage and you're trying to do it more spot on, because then when I do my spot trading, I'll be able to snipe things even quicker. So I'm going to take advantage of the time that I do leverage unless we break down, and I'm going to do it in higher, like 50x type leverage, so that I can do it at a faster pace. Yeah, it might cost me a little bit of money in the beginning, but I'll get it down rather quickly, and then it'll make me money too. But that's part of, if you're copy trading, you should want to see what I try to do. You should want to see my adventures. You know, I never have more than a few $100s in there at any given time to lose, so that's just the way it goes. And then if it goes goodbye-bye, I go goodbye-bye. And I just focus on what I need to focus on. Or if the market dumps, I don't like the leverage if it breaks down, then I just focus spot, because I like to make my, well, it's done so well for me over the years. So, but it's also enabled me to have such a big portfolio in precious metals. I'm telling you, pay attention to B2 Gold, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just, from me to you, even if it goes down, even if it goes up, we've been in it since $2.39, I believe it was. So pay attention. Like, if you're watching this with Tom, XRP Future Millionaire, doesn't that look like kind of a W reversal is forming there? Doesn't it look like a sneaky reversal is happening right in front of our very eyes? And because they're coming into earnings, if you're expecting a big dump like Newmont, they usually happen after earnings. So you'd have a buildup coming into earnings, And then if you're expecting the dump like Newmont, then you expect it on earnings. And that could be something that it's giving us a direction right now. It's telling us like, hey, this could be coming in the future if you have bad earnings, so pay attention to it. But leading into earnings, I think we're looking okay right now. I understand that a lot of people have messaged me and they're like, Tom, why do you still hold after making it? Because I'm not looking at the 30, 40, 50. I'm looking at 10x these. In time, I'm looking at, even if you have to buy and sell, you have to keep holding, keep doing the swing trading until it gets to where you're going. I'm looking at this 10xing my money. And yeah, some would argue I've already got like an X and a half, and that's true. Because I've put about, actually it's more than that, but my portfolios right now, and it's scary when I look at it, but I was a little overzealous saying 20,000 yesterday. But when I look at it, it's 2 points when I didn't think it would happen. You know, I didn't think this stuff was going to happen this quickly. And like in my commodities, just from having B2 Gold, First Majestic, and what is it? Fortuna Silver Mines. You're talking about, it's now over at like 19,000, 18,000. Like it's hard for me to it's hard for me to look at, because like I have all this stuff building on the side. Like I don't act like this is my money. This is what I'm trying to instill in my audience, okay? It's what I'm trying to instill in my audience, and I've been trying to for years. Like when you have stuff in trading, like your XRP, your crypto money, and it can't be part of what you have for the rest of what you do. Like you can't approach it that way. Like if you're gonna start using your money for crypto and you're trying to pay bills with it, you're gonna watch it too closely. It means too much. If it's an investment, you've got to let it act like an investment. It doesn't just happen overnight. There was a time in commodities I was so bad at trading them because I didn't understand the cycle. I was down $3,000 on Cash App. Now on that same Cash App, it's up like, I don't know, it's at a $4,500 turnaround just on Cash App. Just this year. It made up for all my blunders the years prior, being an idiot. And then some. And then I have the JP Morgan trading app that I have B2 Gold in for tax purposes. And it's just, I wish more people understood the difference between a swing trade and trying to invest and actually make a real substantial amount of money. How many people in my audience that are here? We have 80 people. How many of you understand the difference between separating your actual funds that you have to use in your everyday world and separating it from your investment where you don't want to sell it? Unless it's, all right, catastrophe happens, maybe you do have to go into it because of it. But outside of a catastrophe, how many of you understand that? I'm honest. I'm being honest with everybody. I want to know. Like, I want to know. I want to know how many people understand this. Like, I want to know how far my audience is with it or behind. Like, these are the kind of things that I thrive on. Because I need to know. Like, I really need to know, because I need to know how to approach this sometimes. I want to know. And I'll sit here for a second because I want to know. That's just me. I want to know. Nobody else. XRP Future Millionaire wants to know. Because I know where I was at, not, you know, about 8 years ago, and it wasn't the person you see in front of you. Not even fucking close. You guys would have never watched me 8 years ago. That's why it's all about timing. I couldn't have started this channel at 32 because, for lack of a better word, I was an idiot when it came to trading. You know, I couldn't have started telling everybody to build precious metals 8 years ago. I was just starting. So what was the reason to listen to me? You know? So now, with track record, it comes opportunity to get people to actually listen to the message. Like, look at First Majestic right now is at $7.77. Looking at that W, it's like, it's, yeah. And I'm not saying it's, maybe it plays down. Maybe it comes down 50% and it all goes away. But I'm willing to bet going into earnings that, you know, you probably got your best opportunity now if it's going to break out. If it's not, well, you know, shit happens. You know, shit happens. And that's just the truth. But you'll know it by watching the technicals. Like, I'm not in a position where I'm selling my precious metals right now. Yeah, I'm up healthy. I'm up healthy right now. But, like, I am not in a position. And if I'm not in a position, and I've been doing this for all this time. Sorry, I'm going through some of the numbers right now. I like to go through numbers on XRP. I'm trying to work some of the cap on me while I'm talking. While trying to make a point. But, you know, that's what I feel. That's what I feel. So, hopefully that hits you, somebody that makes sense to. If it doesn't make sense to you, that's fine. You know, it's fine. I'm not saying it because I'm saying it because it's something that I've once I began to understand that part of the trading side, it made so much sense. So much sense. John, your average cost for XRP is 50 cents. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, you're at the 2 for $1 point. Like, my average cost for XRP is like 35 cents right now. But that's only, that's because of my philosophy. I won't buy over 40 cents, and there's a reason why. But, you know, I also know when cycles happen. Like, right now, I don't want to sell. The cycle hasn't happened. You know? In 21, I was able to sell because the cycle followed through. It took a while. But when it happened quickly. And right now, Bitcoin is doing everything it needs to do over 67,800 in the shorter time frames. Like, it is pushing in a bullish fashion. I'm just saying, this would be the time after it hit that support to come up and retest the drop points. We always seemingly do that. XDC is at 275. Somebody asked if it's bullish. I mean, from the price it's at, it's kind of in no man's land. But that, just like XRP, this looks like a big reversal's happening. Unless this breaks below 272, this is a bullish setup. Now, if it breaks this down and invalidates it, well, then you get invalidated. But this is another one that looks like it wants to retest some upper boundaries. And, like, if I was just looking at this and doing some basic technical analysis, and since everybody's watching, they want to see the setup. And, like, if there's one thing that makes my skin crawl when I tried to watch other people in lives, they won't do it live. They'll just keep, they won't do an actual chart. They'll have it set up for, never mind. I'm not here to bash other people. Everybody does their stuff in their own way. Maybe there's a reason they do it. Like, look at me. I can't even figure it out because I was going to bash people, what I was even trying to do. That, you got to keep your mind clear. See, the devil's everywhere. The devil's in the detail. And my detail right there was I was going to be a hypocrite by speaking poorly of somebody else when I shouldn't have. Positivity over negativity, after all. That's something that we always have to remember. Everybody always wants that cheap, you know, the cheap kick in the nuts by everybody. And this is what you're looking at for XDC right now, and that's a bullish consolidation. If this breaks out, you're looking at a rather substantial move here. I mean, not overall, but I mean, you'd have to come back up here somewhere. But overall, if this breaks out of this descending consolidation, this is a bullish setup. You're in an inverse head and shoulders pattern. It just hasn't materialized yet, that's all. It hasn't played out. But anything under 3 cents, yeah, that's it. It's at the bottom of the trajectory when it was at 1 point. I remember when it came down here too, 2 cents. This was our, if it breaks through this pivot point, we're screwed. And it held, bounced back, and now it's been continuing ever since. This is where I tried to tell everybody to buy it 2.5 if you were going to buy it, just to ride it up, back up to, like, where was this at? And the target right now, if it continues pushing up, is 3.5 cents in totality. But we all know where the crypto market is. These could all come up for their rejection and then just end up playing back down. So it's going to be a dicey few days. But just remember, get your situation right with the crypto exchanges. Video description below and our pinned comments. Actually, video description below, there's BITUNIX and HOTCOIN. BITUNIX is my favorite, just transparency-wise. I would encourage you to sign up to BITUNIX. I did not even do my due diligence. I should have put that in the pinned comments, which I can do right now. But BITUNIX is the one that's the most transparent. And it's the easiest. If you're trying to do leverage and spot, it's the cheapest. It's just the cheapest. So basically, here's what I do. Copy trading's on BLOFIN. I also like the futures trade there. So that's where I do my futures trading right now. But I like BITUNIX for not only spot but leverage as well, but the spot where I build a position, and I'll be building my algo position and a couple others on BITUNIX. I like HOTCOIN because they have a very particular one that I need, and it's VLO. So when I build VLO, that's where I'll be buying it. And that's one that's on the Stellar network, so please pay attention to that. So, and there's a lot of stuff going on that I can't possibly talk about, but if you appreciate what I do, please make sure to hit that like button. I don't think we got to 100% likes. No, we did not. I highly doubt YouTube recommended this live. I don't think there was enough. Well, I mean, it took a while to get the likes, but I think it'll push around after the live itself. If you appreciate the work I do, consider joining Tom's Army. We've been struggling to garner new members or garnering any kind of donations or anything like that, which is understandable. I can understand it with the market not moving much. But I've still, you know, I'm here every day. I do what I got to do. And if you guys continue to show that support, I'll continue to do the lives and stuff without the ads during the live themselves, because I think it cheapens it and yada, yada, yada. But that's just that's a general thank you to everybody for not, for showing the support. And then let me just put this in here so you guys can see BITUNIX. But that's basically what I wanted to talk about today. Like, that's what I wanted to talk about. Unless somebody else has something to add, I want to play the video from Robert Kiyosaki too. But does anybody have anything to add? As we see Bitcoin's pushing that 68,000 level, it's starting to push that 68,000 level. And if we look at it, Bitcoin's in this megaphone, which is actually a bullish consolidation. It's in a bull flag. So a lot of people think this is going to just drop. If it, like XRP, if it didn't break 51.1, it comes back up and it can somehow push 54.3 and break it. It ain't over yet, folks. We don't have to go through that 23% drop. That's why when everybody asked me, oh, should we sell our XRP? I said, I'm not. There's not a chance in hell I'm doing that. No, sirree, Bob. Because just when you think it's bearish, it'll flip around on you. And right now we're in a very weird spot. We're in a very, very weird spot, to be honest with you. Because just because it fell down, we're still, especially for XRP, we're still on top side. And here's the BITUNIX link if you guys want to join on BITUNIX. HOTCOIN's in the video description below. And so is BLOFIN. But I encourage you on BITUNIX just because of the way the transparency and things like that are, yada, yada, yada. I don't like talking about the exchanges. I just do because that's where I found it, to where I don't get ripped off like Uphold and things like that. Daily time frame looks fantastic for Bitcoin right now. It's a fantastic reversal today. Unless it invalidates in the next couple of hours, it's not looking terrible right now. So I want to get into Mike Maloney, and thank you 1970 Legend for the $4.99 donation. He says you can't go wrong for buying XDC under 3 cents. Oh no, you can't. XDC's dirt cheap. And some people would say, well, what if it goes farther down? Well, it's getting cheaper then. But it's come down a long, 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 long ways. It's like in the pits of hell, so to say. But what I wanted to share was, let's see, was with Robert Kiyosaki. It was only right here. This is the Trump versus Harris proposal.
Where Vice President Harris wants to eliminate the qualified anywhere from. If you want to support communist market, putting cap.
You know what? Fuck it. We'll watch the whole thing. And this isn't because I'm political. This is so you understand all of it. This is Robert Kiyosaki. So if you want to get mad at somebody, get mad at him. I'm just showing you the truth about what's going on. And I take advantage of it like everybody else, depending on what way we go. That's how I knew to get into gold and silver, to hedge against the dollar and to hedge against where we were going with inflation, and why I understand the difference between money and currency. I want to be informed. So if you want to be informed, you'll stick around. We have 73 people. By the end of this, we might have 50. And I know a lot of people are leaving now because they know I'm leaving, but just pay attention.
All right. This is lesson number 2 in the question, are you voting for a capitalist or a Marxist? And in this situation, this is primarily for U.S. citizens because we're talking about Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. The question is she a Marxist or is she a capitalist? And one more time, I'm a ring knocker. I went to military school.
Oh yeah, I'm down overall. I'm down $150 in the copy trade. I've been very transparent with that on the BLOFIN. But if you don't want to be in there, you don't got to be in there. There's really no reason for anybody to be in there if they don't want to be in there. So, but you know, some days you're up, some some days you're down, and it's excuse me, it's not an easy game. Leverage, there's no guarantee. So cumulatively, I'm up with the audience, but you know, depending on where you join, some of you could be down. I'm actually up almost $300 cumulatively, which that could go down another $120 if this inverse head and shoulders doesn't play out and we get stopped out. Every single time I get stopped out, you know, that's money lost. Every time we get trades made, it's money gained. But yeah, FOMO Friday, winning Wednesdays, and motivated Mondays. That's why I don't talk about the leverage, because if somebody decides to join because they see me doing it, so be it. But that's not my, you know, that's about to go to the wayside anyhow. When I go back into accumulation phase, I don't leverage at all. Zero. I just try to fine tune what I'm doing. But anyhow, forget, that's not even supposed to be talked about. As far as everybody knows, we don't copy trade anymore at all.
Federal schools. And we're called ring knockers because government pushes us out there to learn to fight. And we have to study this book here, economics. The problem with our school system, the public school systems and universities, most teachers are Marxist. They just don't know
Nick,
because they're not required to read or study this book. So when I studied Communist Manifesto, I went, oh my God, my family, most of my friends, they're communists. They're good people. Again, communism and capitalism are like religions, like Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Judaism. They're kind of a context of a philosophy. So the Communist Manifesto, once again, the how do you know is, do you believe in taxes? Okay, so this is tax-free wealth. Trump, if you remember, he was debating Hillary Clinton, definitely a Marxist by her actions. And Bill, you know, Bill had other activities going on, as we all know. But anyway, tax-free wealth is this. America was founded as a tax-free nation. Our first battle was not that Lex was going to conquer it. It was 1773, the Boston Tea Party. So America said to England, take your tea, screw your taxes, we're out of here. So for years, America was a tax-free nation until these guys started coming into our school system. Okay? So this is a...
Please pay attention to this. If there's nothing you've ever listened to me when I actually show, pay attention to what Robert Kiyosaki's saying. I'm not going to say another word, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to leave when this ends, because I don't think there'll be many people left.
On taxes, because if you're a Marxist, your highest expense is tax. Everything is taxed today. You can't go anything without paying a tax. But if you're a capitalist, like when Hillary was debating Donald Trump for the election, she said to them, and Donald Trump,
he's paid nothing in federal taxes.
And Trump smiled and says,
that makes me smart.
And we at Rich Dad teach people to be capitalists, and you don't have to pay taxes legally. So this is my book by my friend Tom Wheelwright, Tax-Free Wealth. You want to be a capitalist? Read this book. You want to be a Marxist? Pay your taxes. So again, what we're doing here is we're selling this t-shirt here. This is the cover of this book here. We're capitalists. We teach entrepreneurs. And this is the back of the t-shirt. We teach capitalist education. And if you would like one of these little babies here, they're $50. $5 goes to postage and handling, and $45 goes to the Trump campaign. And as I said before, this election between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, probably the most important election of our lifetimes. If you're a capitalist, you want to wear one of these t-shirts, it's $50. Send it to Rich Dad, go to the website and find the address. We're out of smalls. These babies are going fast. We have a few mediums, larges, and extra larges. So state which size you want. There's only one color, black. But anyway, wear this with pride. If you don't want to wear it, don't buy it. If you want to support communist, Marxist, Kamala, don't buy it. I don't really care. I support the freedom of choice in the election, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. One more time. How do you know you're a Marxist? The first rule of Marxism is taught in this, is abolition of private property. As I said in the previous video, the way to get your private property is 1, inflation, 2, taxation. You're going to find at the end of this video here, you can go to my website, and it's a comparison written by Tom Wheelwright, one of the smartest guys I know. you can compare Kamala's tax proposals and Trump's tax proposals. And then you will know, is she a Marxist or is she a capitalist?
I want to talk about the differences between the Harris tax plan and the Trump tax plan, because they are vastly different. President Trump, on the one hand, wants to maintain the two.
Remember this. Remember this. I always say I don't like politics, but I know the central banks run the world, and I always tell you they give you two choices. Do you want to sink your own ship? If you're a worker and you go one way and not the, I mean, there's just so many things. Just listen to this. I'm not going to influence any. Just watch this.
2017 tax reductions overall, and actually add to those tax reductions about a $4 trillion tax reduction. Vice President Harris wants to increase taxes by anywhere from $4 to $8 trillion, depending on how you count things. So who gets the tax benefits and who gets tax increases is actually as important as how much they are. So Vice President Harris has taken the approach of very much focused on consumers, not only in her economic plan where she has price controls as part of her economic plan, but really in her tax plan where she's looking at an increase in the child tax credit to $3,600, a baby tax credit, an increase in the earned income tax credit, a first-time home buyer's tax credit. And then on the other side, very much taxing what she calls taxing the rich, but really what ends up being taxing the investors. So where Harris, if you look at the cash flow quadrant.
What are we doing right now? We're investing. So if you're an investor, pay very damn close attention to this part right here.
Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. Harris is very much focused on the left side of the quadrant, the E's and the S's, and President Trump is very much focused on the right side of the quadrant, the B's and the I's. And you can look at this like where Vice President Harris wants to increase the corporate tax rate from 21% to 28%. President Trump wants to decrease the corporate tax rate from 21% to 15%, where Vice President Harris wants to eliminate the qualified business income deduction for entrepreneurs over a certain amount of money, $400,000. President Trump would maintain that for every entrepreneur, no matter how much they earn. So really encouraging the growth of businesses and not limiting the size of the business. President Trump would bring back the full deduction for research and development expenses, bonus depreciation, and whereas Vice President Harris would like to eliminate those. Vice President Harris would like to increase the capital gains tax from 20% to 33%, where President Trump would like to maintain it where it is. Vice President Harris would tax gifts as capital gains.
Like, come on.
Capital gains tax on death, in addition to estate tax.
Like, just with what you've heard, why would you vote? Like, I'm not talking about the person. I'm talking about the policy. I don't give a rat's ass about Trump or Harris. But the policy, how it affects us. Look how much we're going to get. I mean, I suppose if you want gold and silver to go higher even quicker and faster than we ever thought possible, sure. But like I said, my wealth is going to increase through precious metals while everybody else is going to go down the shitter, including my own that's in cash and what I own. Like the depreciation is real. It's real. Like, how about we march ourselves with a friggin' slaughter any quicker? Like, how did we get here as a people? How are we so uneducated?
President Harris would also tax unrealized capital gains over a certain amount, all of which have an impact on the amount that's available to invest in hard assets. Whereas President Trump would add tariffs potentially, which would actually hurt the consumer. They would pay higher prices from the tariffs, but President Trump would also have some consumer-friendly tax proposals, such as eliminating the tax on Social Security income and eliminating tax on tips and overtime. So in balance, you have one candidate who's very much focused on tax benefits for investors and you have one candidate who's very focused on tax benefits for consumers.
Trump's proposal, he wants us to be richer by reducing taxes. She wants us to be poor because she wants to increase taxes. She's always saying what most Marxists say, tax the rich. Well, she's
God, no.
not the brightest. I mean, she's maybe a smart
I do not
attorney,
have cash.
but the rich don't pay taxes.
I sold that
'cause we're
long
smart.
ago.
Exactly as Trump says. So we do it legally. I don't want you to go to jail and become a boyfriend of somebody. Do it legally. So this book by Tommy Wright tells you how to do it legally, but Kamala wants to raise our taxes. She's always saying tax the rich. Once again, how do you steal the private property? Inflation, when they cut the pipeline, to taxation. She's going to raise taxes. What Biden did was he hired, I think, 88,000 new IRS agents, Internal Revenue Service tax agents, to go after the rich. The poor and middle class, or Marxists, hate the rich. That's gone on throughout history. And so that is a battle today. Are you a Marxist or a capitalist? And this book explains how you not pay taxes. But please go to our website and...
Okay, so you get the picture. So that's the point. Like, it's, you know, it's one of those things. We either stay informed, and it's funny, but what I see in front of me is, it doesn't look good for the human population, especially the United States, is all I'm going to say. Have a blessed day, everybody. Hopefully you had fun today.